Hi everyone, this is a very quick demo of EDRMS. So what you'll find is on your desktops you'll see a new icon called EDRMS. It's down here nice and blue. So you double click that. Just to say EDRMS 2 is the new version of our note scanning viewing window. So the old EDRMS in Medway is going to shut down and you're going to have to use this application to access all the notes. All the notes will now be scanned, so inpatient and outpatient, anything you write will go to scanning and you'll be able to view it using this system. It's independent of Medway, so you're not going to be using Medway for the time being. Eventually we will integrate it into Medway, but at the moment it's a separate system. And I'm just going to take you through it. So you log in, it's a web-based system, so when you double click it opens up in the most appropriate browser. At the moment I'm in Internet Explorer. For you guys it will be Edge, and I'm going to sign in. So as soon as you sign in, it opens up on the search page. We're going to search for a test patient. The test patient is right. So you just search for that, and the notes come up. Just going back to that original search screen, actually I'll show you here. So that search screen, every time you put a number in, it will remember the number again. But what I'm going to do is just take you through the user interface. Don't worry too much about this far left bar. You're only going to need the search one. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. We've just seen, if you want to go back to search, there's a little thing at the top that you can click and you can search again for a new patient. You can open EDRMS in another tab and search independently for another patient as well, if you wish. Down here, this is a different way of viewing or navigating the notes. Now, some of you will be familiar with current EDRMS, which has these kind of titles, which have subcategories, which are split by date. And each of those is a set of paperwork, is kind of a file date. In this record, we've split this into anesthetics, correspondence, ED, clinical notes. What's going to happen if there are historic records, then those will be split into correspondence, investigation, nursing notes, and mixed, and clinical notes. Going forward, however, there'll be a much finer split by ward and by inpatient or outpatient area and by investigations. Things like ECGs could be split out, growth charts could be split out as well. In terms of the view here, in order just to move across, I can just click on each of these and it will take me to that file. So if I go to correspondence, I can see all the dates of correspondence. And it comes up. There is a different view. I quite like this view actually, which is the timeline view, which actually from the date that you put in looks back 7 days and says, okay, you've got 29 kind of files here that need to be looked at, 3 here, 7 and 6. So it really lets you see what's been going on with this patient if you're looking for something quickly. But let's go back to, so actually in fact, if I click the ACU. Let's go to ACU. And I go to ACU and I can see that there are kind of the whole of ACU has 60, but they're all in one archive. So it's got 60 pages all in one archive, and I can explore this archive like I would normally by clicking on the notes. But also, coming to this window, you can do a few extra things, which makes the exploration of the notes much easier. So one important thing is thumbnail view. I can click on thumbnail view, and I get a really nice thumbnail of all of the notes. So I can very quickly go down and say, oh, you know what, I need that documentation there where someone was scrawling about the admission, and I can double click on that, and there's with this page, if it's not big enough, I can fit to to the page, so I can fit to the width, so I can scroll down, which is really useful. I can do a best fit, which just gives me that, or I can do a 1-to-1 ratio, which really kind of zooms in there. If I want to zoom in very particularly, I can click the zoom function and then left click zooms in, right click zooms out, and I can pan that around. So if I zoom in on this, as close as I want, I can then pan that around there, which is really useful for looking at ECGs and things, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's that sort of functionality. The other thing I can do is, I think none of these pages are out of order, I don't think. But let's say this was kind of the wrong way round. I can just flip this over the right way round, and it will remember it as well. So you could flip that really easily. You can flip it upside down as well using these. If I want a classic 2-page view, so I want to explore the notes in a 2-page view, you can do that. It takes you to that page, and then you can navigate like this, or you can navigate down, and it shows you each 2 pages. So that's quite useful as well. The other thing that's quite useful is if we go back to the navigation view. So if I go back to the 1 page, so the way to go back is go to 1 page view, and you get navigation. If I go back to this navigation view, what I can do, I just want to show you some of the ECGs. Now, when we scan, if it's an old scan, the ECG looks pretty poor. So you can see from this, it's almost invisible. But this ECG is from 2006. Even with this, though, I can use this magnifying tool, which is zooming an area, and really zoom in on a particular area. And it takes me right in. You can just about make a line, but the reason why this is poor is because it's a really old scan. Now, if I go to a more recent scan, so this is a more recent scan, that's really clearly visible. And actually, I can really zoom in on a particular area and really kind of count my squares that I need to count quite clearly. Actually, it looks pretty good. So let's go to a fit. So the other thing I can do now is actually, if I want to compare that ECG to another bit of the document or a different document, then I can go to my comparison, and that opens up a new window where I've got in the left panel my ECG, and I can choose my right panel, and I can change that to let's say the anesthetics card. So I can go to all my anesthetics, and it keeps my ECG on one side, and it moves my my anesthetic chart, whatever I wanted to see, on the left-hand side, and I can navigate that as per normal, or navigate that as a thumbnail as well. So there's lots of ways of doing that. So the last thing the last 2 things I wanted to show you, that if I wanted to keep this ECG in mind for this patient, now I'm just going to double check. Yes, so these are ones I prepared earlier. So I wanted to kind of keep an eye on this ECG, and there were some other bits of this document that I wanted to keep an eye on or remember, and I can bookmark them. So if I wanted to, so let me go to bookmark first, and you can go to bookmark in context, or you can go to a bookmark just on its own. So let's go to this handwritten page just on its own. So I click that, and it will just take me to the handwritten page. This is one you saw earlier. But I can look at that in context as well. And then I can see it takes me to that page in context. If I want to look at a recent ECG in context, I can just click on that because I bookmarked it earlier, and I can go to that ECG in context. It just takes me there automatically. So let's bookmark a particular thing. Let's go back to the navigation, and let's go to let's go back to the correspondence. And let's go to this page. And let's say we want to bookmark this page. I want to remember. So I just simply add a bookmark here. It's a personal bookmark. I can call it random page. Done. Okay. And then that closes. And that bookmark is now in your bookmarks folder as random page. I think I already had a random page. And it tells you when you did it as well. And it stores that on your account. So you can really have your own case notes that you want to file. If you see something that's misfiled, you can click this and it will report the misfiled document as well, which is really useful. For very specific instances, we may allow print for very specific instances, but that's still a conversation that's going to be had. At the moment, we are not allowing print. So that's it, really. It's a pretty simple user interface and very, very functional. So that's it. Thanks.